start introduction.
Okay. Good afternoon, all. I, Professor Ashwini Gutmare, on behalf of MCT's Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Technology and Department of Mechanical Engineering, welcome you all to AICTE AQIS sponsored online short-term training program on recent trends in energy management and audit. Our speaker for today's session is Mr. Pandurang Jalkote from Adani Power. Mr. Pandurang Jalkote is an energy professional with over 26 years of experience in power industry in India and is a passionate energy auditor of energy management practices strategically into business activities to reduce energy cost, especially among large energy intensive equipments and systems. He is currently working as additional vice president at Adani Dahanu Thermal Power Station. He was the key person for the implementation of ISO 5001 in India from the first day of its announcement. He was one of the candidates selected by JICA Japan in 2010 for the implementation of energy conservation techniques for India. He holds his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and MBA in operations management. He started his career as a graduate in 1993. He has a vast experience in energy efficiency projects and program implementation. He is certified energy auditor. He also holds a certification in Master Trainer Facilitator and Six Sigma Green Belt and Black Belt. He has trained thousands of personnel in energy efficiency and energy management topics and practices since 1999. He has assisted over 10 facilities to get ISO 50001 certified. He is active speaker at different seminars, workshops, dialogues and forums locally and internationally on energy efficiency, time management and stress management. Other than this, he is also a global wellness ambassador working on the well-being of human and organic farming. With this introduction, I would like to hand it over to Mr. Jalkote, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Audible हूँ मैं? Clear है मेरा voice?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can presentation is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Welcome one and all. Today's topic, and first of all, I thank you for providing me to share my knowledge, experience on this forum to my management and the institute also. Today's topic, perform, achieve, trade. That is a PAT we can call under the Energy Conservation Act 2001. Before starting, we'll start with this small story that you are correct. This is a parachute, and this is umbrella, and this is a human brain. These three things will work when they are open. ये तीन चीजें तब काम करेगी जब ये खुले हो. That's why my request. This session is new for someone also, and someone know, but I'll try to justify this session with my experience. That's why I'm request be attentive. And the second thing, knowledge is power. We all say always in all forums. I think all are agree, but I'm a not agree. I'm a disagree, because knowledge is a not power. Knowledge is a only potential power. It transforms itself into actual power the moment you and we all decisively act on it. That's why it's very important to utilize this knowledge by taking action. Then and then this knowledge is a power. That's why normally it happens. We'll do someday, not sure, in the future, in time, now, later, never, whenever, not yet, another day, next week. These are normally our words. These all are negative words. The less we think about doing something and the faster we just get on it, the fewer problems we cause ourselves. Good planning is always helpful, but time spent fitting and focusing is a major drain of our energy. That's why we know, as a human, there is a lot of energy in between, but we can't use due to some other, because we are always giving priorities to other works. That's why my request to prioritize your works. That's why one day or day one, it's simply you decide day one, own your life from day one. That's why it's very important to start today only. The learning objective of today's session, that is a patent mechanism by Bureau of Energy Efficiency under Energy Conservation Act 2001, market design, then institutional design. The content we are going to cover today, that is introduction, PAT overview, origin of PAT, then what is PAT, PAT mechanism, market design, instrument design, ESERT's trading process, that is energy, ESERTs means energy conservation certificates, trading process. PAT overview. It is under National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency, that is NMEEE, Perform, Achieve and Trade Scheme, that is PAT scheme, is a market-based mechanism to enhance the energy efficiency in energy intensive industries through certification of energy saving, which can be traded. We will see those who are energy intensive industries and the world designated consumer will clear in subsequent slides. The perform, achieve and trade, that is PAT, is a market-based mechanism to reduce the specific energy consumption in energy intensive industries. The purpose of this mechanism under Energy Conservation Act 2001, not to penalize anyone, it is to practice energy efficiency, energy conservation in your day-to-day life, whatever you may, in the industry, in the society, in the home, where you are. The purpose is to practice the energy efficiency on energy conservation. This is a facilitated through the trading of energy conservation certificates, which are issued to those plants who have overachieved their targets. Means it is just, we can say, बैक द पैट, मीन्स जो अच्छा काम किया है उसे रिवार्ड मिलना चाहिए. ये वर्ड हम लोग हमेशा सुनते हैं और मिलता भी है जो अच्छा काम करता है, बट दिस इज द सेम एप्लीकेबिलिटी इन द इंडस्ट्रीज who those who are overachieved, means they are more than achieved their target. We'll see in detail how it is target and how it is comply or not, you are complying or not in I will detail to understand that. But those plants who were underachievers, underachiever means the industry or the given uh, designated consumer not achieved their target, means they are underachiever of their targets, are entitled to purchase energy saving certificate. Here is a, under Energy Conservation Act 2001, there is a provision to buy the energy conservation certificates to comply. We'll see the four conditions, how it happened. The first cycle of PAT was completed in March 2015. Therefore, thereafter, verification of the performance of designated consumers. We'll see what is mean by designated consumer in detail, sector-wise. With regard to energy saving, and based on the recommendations made by Bureau of Energy Efficiency, the Ministry of Power issued 38.24 lakhs approximate ESERTs to 306 designated consumers on 16 February 2017. This is because already this scheme has been successfully implemented in India, and this is one of the, you can say, the best option to enhance your energy efficiency and gain something if you are overachieved. And around 110 designated consumers have been entitled to purchase around 14.23 lakhs of ESERTs in the PAT cycle 1. The designated consumers have contributed to the success of PAT cycle, and this cycle has witnessed an energy saving of 8.67 million tons of oil equivalent. This is a innate. You can I will explain how it is converted. That is MTOE, that is metric ton of oil equivalent, against the targeted energy saving of 6.886 MTOE. The targeted in the PAT cycle is estimated around 6.886 MTOE, but it is overachieved 8.67 million tons of oil equivalent. This energy saving is equivalent to 31 million tons of CO2 emission reduction. By implementation of this PAT cycle 1, the total CO2 emission reduction is around 31 million tons, and monetary saving of Indian rupees 37,685 crore, which increase investment around Indian rupees 24,500 crores. This is a success story of PAT cycle 1. For the trading of ESERTs, Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, that is CERC, uh, to regulate electricity in the central, there is a CERC, and for the state, for the any state, for example, you take the example of Maharashtra, then MERC is a responsible, that is Maharashtra Electricity Regulatory Commission uh, in the state, is the market regulator, because CRC is a market regulator and Bureau of Emergency Efficiency is an administrator. POSOCO, that is Power System Operation Corporation Limited, has been appointed as for making designated consumers, that is DCs, as a eligible entities for trading of assets. Means what? Suppose you are a DC, but to enter into the trading of assets, there is again a process. You should register to POSOCO or to become a eligible entity. And bookkeeping of assets is a responsibility of POSOCO. There are two power exchanges, that is IEX and PXIL, and many more will come in the future, where trading of assets shall take place. CERC has already approved the procedure for transaction of energy saving certificates, and it is a well-defined procedure on 14th February 2007. Accordingly, the trading has been happened in PAT cycle 1. Then come to origin of PAT. What is origin of PAT? इसका जन्म कहाँ पे हुआ? That is in response to dual need to enhancing energy availability for GDP growth and action to fight against climate change. Our Honorable Prime Minister announced National Action Plan on Climate Change, that is NAPCC. This National Action Plan on Climate Change, NAPCC, has 8 key missions. We'll see one by one. The first mission is National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency. We are basically today looking under this National Mission for Enhanced Efficiency, that is a PAT initiative. PAT is an initiative of NMEEE. Then come to the National Solar Mission. Then National Mission for the Strategic Knowledge for Climate Change. National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. National Mission for a Green India. Then National Mission for the Sustainable Habitat. National Waste Mission, and last one is a national mission for sustaining the Himalayas ecosystem. Now today we are focusing on PAT under National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency, that is NMEEE. The nodal agency is Bureau of Energy Efficiency from the central, and at state level there is a state designated agencies for each state. In Maharashtra again, that is MEDA, Maharashtra Energy Development Authority. Suppose you take in Gujarat, that is JEDA, Gujarat Electricity Development Agency. A National Mission for Enhanced Energy Efficiency NMEEE being a key component of NAPCC reflects Government of India's emphasis on the achieving energy efficiency in Indian economy. It puts four new initiatives to enhance energy efficiency in the country. Under this NMEEE, that is National Mission for Enhanced Efficiency, again there are four new initiatives. That is EEFP, that is Energy Efficiency Financing Platform, a mechanism to finance demand supply management program in all sectors by capturing future energy saving. The second one is that is a PAT, which you are looking today, that is PAT Perform Achieve Trade, a market-based mechanism to enhance cost effectiveness of improvements in energy efficiency in energy intensive large industries through certification of energy saving that could be traded. Then come to the third initiative, MTEE, market-based transformation for energy efficiency, accelerating the shift to energy efficient appliances in designated sectors through innovative measures that make the product more affordable. And the last initiative is FMEED, that is Framework for the Energy Efficiency Economic Development, developing physical instruments to promote energy efficiency. These are the four initiatives under NMEEE, but we are basically looking today for the PAT. As I told, PAT, what is a PAT? That is, this is a reward over achievers. जो अच्छा काम करेगा उसको रिवार्ड मिलना चाहिए, वो मिलेगा. Penalize under performer. Penalize under performer. Basically, I want to clear here, as I told earlier also, the purpose of this PAT mechanism under Energy Conservation Act is not to penalize anyone. It is basically to enhance energy efficiency or energy conservation. But at the same time, suppose you are not complying or not performing, it is then you are liable for the penalty. The administrator, that is bureau administrator, is a bureau of efficiency. Administrator set target and compliance period also. This is a designated consumer. This is a figure for the PAT cycle 1. Initially, it started with 8 sectors, around 478 units. These 8 sectors are that is power industries, thermal power plant basically, then steel industries, cement, fertilizer, pulp and paper, textile, aluminum, and solar alkali. These are the 8 sectors. Under these 8 sectors, there are 478 designated consumers in the PAT cycle 1. Then there is auditing agencies, independent, monitoring purpose, verifying and certifying. This is Ampel Accredited Energy Audit Firm. Those who are eligible to monitor, verify, and certify. There is a separate list on Bureau of Energy Efficiency website. Those who are the Ampel Energy Accredited Energy Auditors. Then marketplace, that is finally the transaction of energy efficiency instrument in the exchange, and that is in terms of the energy saving certificates. Under targets, setting targets on the basis of current specific energy consumption. How to set the target? Uh, Basically, I will detail in the PAT cycle one. They are taken the 3 years average figures. That is 2007, 8, 9, 9, 10, and from that it is derived the basis of the current specific energy consumptions. Accordingly, they have fixed the baseline. Then there is a target during assessment year. Set compliance period, that is basically this PAT cycle is a 3 year cycle. Accordingly, set compliance period for the each PAT cycle may take into account location, vintage, technology, raw material, and product mix. This is a how target is setting. This is the first step. Then in the second step, after completion of your 3 year cycle, that is assessment, after completion of assessment year, there is a monitoring verification of targets by designated energy auditors. That is, I said, that is a impelled accredited energy audit firm. Check if designated consumer has achieved targets or not. Under achievement, obligations to buy energy saving certificates or pay penalty. I can, my experience says that you can buy the energy saving certificates instead of paying the penalty. How it is helpful, I can explain in the subsequent slides. Overachievements, that is you achieved more than your given target, that are means your gain side, your they are eligible for issuance of e-certs for banking or latter use of trade. Means suppose you are overachieved and you not want to trade now, then you can bank it for your subsequent next cycle compliance period. It is valid this asserts for your subsequent next cycle. Then trading of asserts, participation by designated consumers on platform provided by power exchange. Then symmetrical flow of the information. At the same time, buyers and sellers uh, can flow the inform at both sides. How this is a market based mechanism works. Then key steps uh, followed by the Bureau of Efficiency. Stakeholders consultation, stakeholders comments and concerns, hearing and decisions all are well taken during this consultation period. Then Bureau of Efficiency done the baseline study, assessment of energy consumption or specific energy consumption of the individual designated consumer facility, establishing the baseline energy consumption norms. Accordingly, they have established the baseline for energy consumption. Then target setting, setting energy efficiency targets during assessment year, defining compliance period, and also define the compliance period for the each PAT cycle. Market design, this is a, you can this is a scheme to participate in the market, market structure and overall process, liquidity, tradability, and fungibility. It all these factors will taken into account during market design. Then trading cycle for that PAT cycle. Then institutional design, scheme participants role and responsibilities, implementation and registration for an eligible entity, project. That is monitoring verification, and if recheck, if anyone find some any malfunction there, then there is a recheck facilities also. Issuance of energy efficiency certificates, trading and redemption of energy efficiency certificates, regulatory framework, draft regulation governing the overall PAT mechanism, regularization, final regulation, then detailed procedures. These are the all key steps for the PAT mechanism. Then it is a question comes why market based mechanism? Because this scheme, the basic purpose or the motto of this PAT mechanism or under the Energy Conservation Act is to promote the energy efficiency. At the same time, suppose you are overachieved or done better than your target, then there should be some incentive that it serves the additional source of revenue for that utility. You can say it is a bonus for that because after achieving energy efficiency and energy conservation, you are already optimize your production cost and you are competitive in the market for any business. But this is an additional revenue or source of revenue for your well doing in the energy efficiency. Allow quantification of the volatile and not to measurable energy efficiency. Market-based energy efficiency instruments serve as an accounting tool to demonstrate that certain amount of energy has been saved. It will definitely demonstrate each and every entity or designated consumer you have saved, you have taken initiative yourself. Offer alternative to your obligation of achieving energy efficiency. Means there is a provision, suppose you are not achieved, there is a to to comply it, there is a alternate arrangement through market. Reduce cost of compliance of energy efficiency targets and greater flexibility. It is a flexible mechanism. Then come to question, what is the designated consumer, that is disease. Under Energy Conservation Act 2001, Section 14E specify having regarding to the intensity or quantity of energy consumed and the amount of investment required for switching over to energy efficient equipments and capacity or industry to invest in it, and availability of the energy efficient machinery and equipments required by the industry, any user or class of users of energy as a designated consumer for the purpose of this act. Means under energy intensive industries, again the Bureau or Bureau of Energy Efficiency under Energy Conservation Act, they have identified designated consumers. Designated consumer means those industries having consuming of their given threshold limit or more than that. We'll see in details the sector wise, industry wise, what is the threshold limit and how they came into the designated consumer. Then you can decide you are a DC or not, or in future designated consumers under provision of Energy Conservation Act 2001. These are the sectors, energy intensive industries you can call sectors, that is thermal power plant, cement, solar alkali, then petroleum refinery, fertilizers, iron and steel, textile, aluminum. Earlier there is in the PAT cycle one only 8 sectors, and now they are widened this scheme to the other sectors like railway, discom, commercial buildings and petrochemicals. Now, these are the sectors. Under these sectors, they have identified the designated consumers. This slide shows or clarify you those who are deceased, that is designated consumer. That is threshold energy consumption in terms of metric ton of oil equivalent. For example, these are the sectors, notified sectors, that is thermal power plant, and threshold limit is 30,000 metric ton of oil equivalent or more than that. This is a yearly consumption. Suppose any thermal power station consuming 30,000 metric ton of oil equivalent energy or more than that, they are identified as a designated consumer. Then the same for the fertilizers sector. Again, the threshold limit is a 30,000. Cement, it is again 30,000. Then cement grinding units. There is some industries that is only grinding the cement, that is cement grinding units. They have given the threshold limit 10,000 MTOE. Iron and steel is a 30,000 again. Solar alkali 12,000. Aluminum sector 7,500. Textile 3,000 MTOE or above. Any textile industries, if they are consuming 3,000 metric ton of oil equivalent or more than that, they are identified as a designated consumer. Then for the pulp and paper, 30,000 metric ton of oil equivalent. Then petroleum refineries, it is 90,000 metric ton of oil equivalent. Then come to the electricity distribution companies. Any discoms. Earlier limit is that is 86,000 metric ton of oil equivalent, or you can equal to 1,000 MUs. Suppose any distributing company in their area, the losses are distribution and transmission losses are more than 1,000 million units, then they are considered as a designated consumer. But now it is amended to, by this notification dated 28 September 2020. This is a gazette notification by Ministry of Power under this SO 3445E. Now, those entities having issued distribution license by state or Joint Electricity Regulatory Commission under Electricity Act 2003, that is clause 36 of 2003, all these distribution companies are now as a designated consumers. There is a earlier, that is a 1,000 million units T&D loss, or it is equivalent to 86,000 MTOE. But now there is a all entities, those having issued distribution licensee or state joint electricity regulatory commission under the Act 2003 are the designated consumers. This is a amendment, latest amendment in the September. Then railway, all zonal railways traction 70,000 MTOE, all workshops of railway, those who are consuming 750 MTOE or more are eligible for the designated consumer. Then all 8 production factories of railways, 750 and above MTOE consumption. Commercial buildings and establishment. Now those commercial buildings, you can take a malls or any commercial buildings. Suppose they are consuming 1,000 MTOE equivalent energy on yearly basis, they are now identified as a designated consumers. All hotels, those who are consuming 500 MTOR and above, are identified as a designated consumers. Airports also identified those who are consuming 500 MTOR and above. Here I can add that this is a day by day Bureau of Energy Efficiency under Energy Conservation Act 2001. They are widening and deepening the sectors. That's why it's very important. You should always look as an individual residence also in terms of energy efficiency or energy conserve. You can try to conserve it and be efficient. Designated consumer, that is again under Conservation Act 2001, Section 49, direct any designated consumer to designate or appoint energy manager. The provisions under this Energy Conservation Act, the requirement of disease, designated consumers can appoint a designated energy manager. Who are the designated energy manager? Those who are qualified energy manager or energy auditor exam by Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Under Energy Conservation Act 2001, there is a one provision for the qualification of, that is, capability building of the energy managers and editor. From that only you can designate or appoint a energy manager. Then again submit a report in the form or manner as may be prescribed on the status of energy consumption at the end of the every financial year to designated agency. Under this Energy Conservation Act, every designated consumer can submit their e-return. जैसे आप टैक्स का रिटर्न भर रहे हैं ईयरली टू द रेवेन्यू डिपार्टमेंट, ऐसे ही आपको हर साल जो भी डेजिग्नेटेड कंज्यूमर है उनको अपना ई रिटर्न भरना है. दैट इज एनर्जी कंजम्पशन रिटर्न आपको भरना है. देर इज अ sector specific perform also form 1 for the all designated consumer they can file. Now this facility is available on patnet portal by Bureau of Efficiency. Then 14M under prescribe minimum qualification for energy managers to be designated or appointed under clause. हम जो ने बात किया, आपको जो भी designated consumer आप appoint करेंगे उसका minimum qualification होना चाहिए, जो he is a qualified from the that exam, energy manager and energy auditor exam. These are the requirements of designated consumers under Energy Conservation Act 2001. This is enabling the framework. Now Energy Conservation Act designated consumer to comply with the specific energy consumption norms. NAP double C, that is National Action Plan Climate Change के अंडर हम लोगों ने देखा NM triple E. Under that, these are the 4 initiatives we have seen in details. That is nationally determined contributors indices. We have committed that emission intensity reduction by 30 to 35% against 2005 level by 2030. This is our commitment, that is nationally determined contributions. That's why it's very important to achieve energy efficiency, energy conservation. This is a PAT cycle process. How PAT cycle works: setting a boundary for any designated consumers. You have to set the boundary because this is you can say the end to end process, that is energy in process and energy out. Therefore it's very important to set your boundary. Then establishing the baseline, we have seen that is first is to establish the baseline and set the target. Then next step is monitoring, verification, and reporting. Under this, there is energy audit. Then form one, there is a form one to for the e-filing and normalization. We'll see the normalization in detail. Then verification and cross check verification. If Bureau of Energy Efficiency find anything, they can recheck, or again there is a check verification. A reporting process through form 1, form 2, form 3, form ABCD. These are the different forms for the to complete this PAT mechanism process. Then issue of requirement of asserts for overachieves and depository or registry function. Then you have to add from the DC to you can register for the eligible entity. Then bookkeeping of asserts by POSOCO, that is registry and transaction. Then actual trading of the asserts through power exchange. Then enforcement of compliance. After completion of trading period, then final form D, you can fill the form D by overachievers also, underachievers, and submit to the state designated agency and the Bureau of Energy Efficiency for the compliance purpose. This is how this PAT cycle works. Then there are different documentation and communication is available on Bureau of Efficiency site. That is performa normalization equation and detailed sector wise normalization document is available. You can go through that. If any you find any problem, these documents are available at Bureau of Efficiency website. This how this from 2001 to now in 2021 we are in the PAT cycle 6. How this happened? Energy Conservation Act enacted in 2001. Then there is a national mission for enhanced efficiency under National Action Plan on Climate Change release. The nationwide consultation workshop and organized for the information and to fixing the or implementation of this PAT. Then sector studies to identify disease. Then there is a energy intensive industry wise. They have done the sector studies and finalize the disease. Then baseline data collection begins, that is 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10. NMEEE approved by Prime Minister's Council on Climate Change. And there is an amendment in the Energy Conservation Act 2001 in 2010 to make provisions for issue of energy saving certificates, imposition of the penalty for non-compliance and trading of asserts. These are amendment of this 2001 Act. These provisions are enforced in the or covered in the amendment. Then consultation on target setting methodology and targets, and PAT cycle 1, that is 3-year cycle, that is 2001 to 13, 2013, 13, 14, and 14, 15. Perform achieve trade PAT cycle 1 scheme came into enforce first compliance, that is 2012 to 2015. Then after completion of this cycle, that is assessment year is 14, 15. After completion of after 31st March 2015, from 1st April to 13th June, within 90 days, You can do the performance verification and submit all required data to the SDA, that is designated state designated agency, and the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Then PAT cycle 2 started in 2016-17, PAT cycle 3 in 17-18. Now the 2020-21 PAT cycle 6 started. This is a typical PAT cycle, how the DC notifications, minimum energy consumption notification say 30,000. Here taken the example of cement, identified 11 sectors. The notification, individual DCA has received the notification for their PAT mechanism. Data collection and third party verification for the baseline study, data collection from thousands plus industries, that is under data collection and verification. Under consultation with industries, association ministers, then researchers, uh, then experts, bodies, around 250 plus consultation meetings, workshops, and visits carried out, and around 70 technical committee members discussions happens before target setting, then target saving potential, and they have find out the what is the international practices in this field. Now I want to add here, after successful implementation of PAT cycle 1, this PAT mechanism is available in the developed country also, but they are not successful as this PAT cycle success in the uh, India. Now they are also looking to PAT mechanism of under Energy Conservation Act 2001. PAT cycle 1, 31st 3 2012, the notification for the 478 units. PAT cycle 2, under PAT cycle 2, there is a 621 designated consumers, and in PAT cycle 3, 737 units covered, that is designated consumers. Then this is a 3-year cycle implementation for the implementation purpose. Then after implementation, each cycle there is a verification by ample energy accredited firm, auditors, and trading. 478 industries verified for the PAT cycle 1. Achievement verification research trading happened. Then come to the grouping of designated consumers. Because as you know, suppose you are taking the textile industries, there are different processes. Depending on these processes, they are grouped the disease. That is spinning, processing, composite, and fiber. These all textile industries grouped in the textile industries. Then for the thermal power plants, that is coal, lignite based, gas, diesel thermal power plants grouped in the thermal power plant energy intensive industries. Then cement plants again based on the major products, that is PPC, OPC, PSC, wet plant. This all comes under the cement plants. How they are grouped this for the purpose of PAT. As I told you, this is a get to get concept. That's why it's very important to fix your boundary. This is a plant boundary. All forms of energy coming in the boundary, they are considered for the threshold limit. आपका थ्रेशोल्ड लिमिट क्या है, आप डीसी है या नहीं आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए भी ऑल टाइप्स ऑफ एनर्जी जो आपके प्लांट या बाउंड्री के अंदर आ रहे हैं, दे आर कंसिडर्ड लाइक इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, फ्यूल ऑयल, देन नेचुरल गैस, कोल, डीजल, एनीथिंग इन टर्म्स ऑफ एनर्जी जो भी आ रहे हैं वो सभी वो कंसिडर होगा. देन देर इज अ प्रोसेस under plant boundary, and there is a final product. The specific energy consumption is a that is any form of energy in and the product out. This is the specific energy consumption. As this is a 3-year cycle, baseline specific energy consumption, this is the given. You can achieve the given target in the assessment year, that is in the year 3. There is a 2 years given for the implementation purpose for the reduction of energy, specific energy consumption in terms of percentage. Basically, this graph shows that in the same sector or in the same industries, type of industries, those who are consuming more energy from their design specific energy consumption, their target is higher side, and deviation is at lower side, then your target is also lower side. That means it is a purpose of this PAT cycle is to implement energy efficiency positively. I request this slide is a very important to understand compliance part of PAT mechanism. There are 4 possibilities. First is suppose this is a baseline specific energy consumption and you are given the target specific energy consumption of this green bar shows, and you are overachieved, means you are achieved more than your target, means you are at a gain side, means your specific energy consumption is a low as given to the target, means this much energy saving certificates are issued to you because you are a overachiever, and this shows you are complied as per your given target. But these assets you can trade or bank it. This is the type 1, or you can say the possibility of 1. In 2, this is a baseline specific energy consumption. This is a target given, but your achieved specific energy consumption is a underachiever, means you are not achieved. Then here is a provision, you have to purchase the remaining which you have not achieved, that much assets you can purchase from the market and comply it. Here also you are complied. In the first case, no need to purchase, you have to sell. In the second case, you have to purchase due to underachievement. In the third case, it is a neutral, means the baseline specific energy consumption and target specific energy consumption, you have achieved exactly what is targeted. Here, trading is a not required. You are simply complied it, achieved it. But fourth option is a very important. This is a baseline specific energy consumption. This is a target specific energy consumption, and you're underachieved. But you're not purchased the assets from the market, means you are a non-compliance. Here you are eligible for the penalty. What is the penalty? How much? You will see in details in subsequent slides. This is the specific energy consumption per unit production of any industry. How this PAT mechanism works, and these all 4 options will clear you where you are. This is again a brief in a PAT cycle 1 and 2. In the PAT cycle 1, there is only 8 sectors, these 8 sectors. And in the PAT cycle 2, these additional 3 sectors added, that is petroleum refineries, railways, and discoms. These are in the PAT cycle 2. How this PAT cycle 1, there are a total 478 designated consumers. In PAT cycle 2, there is a 621 designated consumers. Then again in a PAT cycle 3, 4, 5, This is the addition of 116 designated consumers. Here again you can see the buildings are and petrochemicals are addition, and these are the widening and deepening. After widening and deepening, these additional 116 designated consumers are added. In PAT cycle 4, 109 addition. In PAT cycle 5, 110. This is how you can see the designated consumer increasing in every cycle. As this is a market instrument, number of ESCerts, that is energy saving certificates, equal to specific energy consumption notified for the target year minus specific energy consumption achieved in the target year into production in the baseline year. Always for calculation purpose, the production of baseline is a multiplication factor. Normally, for any industries, or there is a confusion which production will take into account for the calculation purpose, but as per the provision, the production of baseline year will be taken into account. ESCerts are issued when energy efficiency improvements surpass targets, means you are overachieved. In that case, ESCerts or energy saving certificates are issued to the gainer or overachievers. That is, this is 1 metric ton of oil equivalent equal to 1 energy saving certificate. Uh, you can bank your gained energy saving certificates till completion of compliance period of your next or subsequent cycle. Your subsequent cycle, not to others. Then come to the how this ESCerts price has been worked out. That is price of 1 metric ton of oil equivalent, that is 1 MTOE, equal to WC, that is weight of coal into price of coal. This price of coal taken F grade coal declared by the Ministry of Coal, then plus weightage of oil and price of oil. Again, price of oil or fuel as declared by the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Then addition of weightage of gas. Suppose because this is depending on industry, which type of energy consuming, this all should be considered for that respective. If you are not consuming oil, then not an issue, but this is to find out the one price of ESCerts. This all should be taken into care. Ultimately, the single unit is a metric ton of oil equivalent for the all sectors. And for the again weightage of grid electricity, suppose you are purchasing any electricity during that year, then that also taken into care. Normally, the weightage of coal in Indian energy mix shall be worked out as under amount of coal consumed by all disease and total energy consumed by all disease. How this is, find out the WC. The value of per metric ton of oil equivalent for 14-15 means for the PAT cycle 1 is 10,968 rupees. This is a 1 metric ton of oil equivalent price has been decided for the PAT cycle 1. For trading of ESCerts, no floor price of performance price has been defined, as the price of ESCerts shall be discovered at the power exchange. See, I have told that I think if you find it is better, you can purchase the assets from the market instead of paying the penalty. Means what? Suppose you are not purchase the assets from the market, then you have to pay your compliance. Or suppose you are 100 assets, you have to comply. Means you are underachieving of by given target of around 100 assets energy saving certificate. Then you have to penalize 100 into 10, 90, 68. Plus there is a fixed provision in the act. I will show it. That is a fix. Suppose you are complying by taking assets from the market, the PAT cycle 1 market price from 250 rupees to 1600 rupees. Because in the PAT cycle 1, in the third slide, you have seen that assets are issued for the more disease. Means there is a supply is a more and demand is a lower side. Underachievers are at one not around 9 disease, and more than 300 disease, there are overachievers. That's why this floor price is not fixed, and the assets price will be depending on the market closing of that day market. Assets shall be brought by disease for compliance only, and after submission of B for the meeting the compliance, it will be stands expired. Means suppose underachiever are taken the assets from the market to comply it, then after compliance, these assets are there is a no value. Means you are taken for the only compliance period, that assets are expired. Deceased to whom assets are issued can sell them at power exchange. See, only you can sell or buy the assets through power exchange only, through market only. Means what? Suppose at the same brand, one unit at in the Maharashtra, and second unit in the other state, or in the Maharashtra at some other location in other districts. Suppose plant one unit is overachieved and second unit is underachieved. You can't transit, और वो आप इस प्लांट से लेके आप कंप्लाई नहीं कर सकते डायरेक्टली. You can buy assets through market only. And that's how this total market based mechanism has been formed or working. Validity period of assets issued during current cycle is still the completion of compliance period of respective disease in the next cycle. That's why सभी PAT cycle का अलग अलग जो compliance period है उसी के लिए वो applicable है. Then these are the stakeholders. Regulator is a Ministry of Power, administrator is a Bureau of Energy Efficiency at the center, and at the state under B there is a state designated agency. Implementer is a designated consumer, that is identified energy intensive. Under energy intensive industries, the different industries are the designated consumers. Then state nodal agency, these are the state designated agency, and SERC, that is in the Maharashtra. Suppose you take the Maharashtra Electric Commission. Then verifier is the MPEL accredited energy auditors. These are the verifiers. There is a separate mechanism for qualification of MPEL accredited energy audit. There is a process. Bureau of Energy Efficiency is giving MPEL accreditation through their defined process, and they have already uploaded the list of MPEL accredited energy auditor on the Bureau of Efficiency site. Trading regulator or registry is a central, that is a Central Electricity Regulatory Commission and the POSOCO, Power Grid. These are the stakeholders for the PAT mechanism. Then timeline, it's very important to see the timeline and comply within that period. Otherwise, you are liable for the penalty. Activity wise, action plan submission 3 months. within 3 months from the notification, that is 13th June of every year. Is the responsibility of DCs, designated consumers, where to submit, that is state designated agency and the Bureau of Efficiency. Form 1.3 and the performa submission within 3 months after completion of your assessment year. Every yearly submission of Form 1 with 3 months from the last financial year. This is a 3-year cycle, but you have to submit the e-return every year, but the monitoring and verification will happen after your assessment year, and that should be again comply within 90 days, that is 13 June every year. Suppose there is any problem, or they can notify accordingly, Bureau of Efficiency can notify the timeline also. Now you can see this situation, pandemic, COVID-19, they can uh, extend this period, and accordingly they can notify when it is happen. This is again a responsibility of activity of designated consumer, and where to comply, state designated agency and Bureau of Efficiency. Form A, Form B along with the other documents. The time period is 4 months. Within 5 months from the conclusion of a target year for all sectors except railway and discoms. Railway and discoms has given a 6 months time period. For other sectors, that is 5 months by end of July after the target year. This is again responsibility of designated consumer, and where to submit, the state designated agency and the Bureau of Efficiency. Submission of comments on Form A, Form B from SDA. SDA means state designated agency can submit comment within 45 days to whom? To the at center to Bureau of Efficiency. Then recommendation of ESERTs to Ministry of Power, Government of India. This is again after receiving the comments within 2 months, Bureau of Efficiency can submit the recommendation to the Ministry of Power. That is timeline is 15 November. Then issue of ESERTs by Ministry of Power. After this recommendation, Ministry of Power can issue certificates to the overachievers within 45 days. Within 45 days from the date of receipt of recommendation of ESERTs from the Bureau of Efficiency. That is end of January, and this is the activity of Ministry of Power. Whom to issue? To the designated consumers. Then Form D submission, 8 months, within 8 months from the last date of submission of Form A, that is end of March. The responsibility of DCs and whom to submit, state designated agency and Bureau of Efficiency. Follow it. This timeline is a very important. Otherwise, you are liable for the penalty. Then there is a term normalization in this under PAT mechanism. Normalization means the process of rationalization of energy and production data of designated consumer to take into account changes in quantifiable terms that impact of energy performance under equivalent condition. It is a streamlining process by which any DC is not subjected to undue advantage or disadvantage due to factors beyond the control of DC. If anything behind the control of designated consumers, that can be taken into account under normalization factor. We'll see one live example in the next slide how it happens. Process normalization of sectorial, subsectorial technical committee, consultation with stakeholders, identification of factors, integration with reporting format and performa, and validation with the real data. From this slide, you came to know the what is normalization. This is a real life example, and it is applicable to how this is means which are not control of any designated consumer, that can be normalized in terms. See here, take an example of family. The family profile during the baseline year. When the baseline is fixed, this is a family profile, means the married couple. And what happens during the target year, in the assessment year, after 3 years, there is a newcomer in that family. It is beyond the control of this designated consumer. That's why how gas cylinders consumption per month, the baseline is a 14 kg, and target is a given 2 kg reduction, that is a 12 kg. Means designated consumer can given a target reduction of 2 kgs per month during assessment year or target year. But यहाँ पे क्या हो गया, जो उनके हाथ में नहीं था, तो न्यू मेंबर आ गया, तो the consumption of cylinders is a 20, but target is a 12. Here maybe there is a 3 scenario. Normalization process of rationalizing factor beyond the control of disease, there may be 3 scenario. Exclude additional consumption due to the child. यहाँ पे इन द रैशनलाइजेशन ये होना चाहिए कि चाइल्ड का जो भी कंज्यूमशन है बाहर होना चाहिए. सिनेरियो 1, चाइल्ड्स कंज्यूमशन से 8, 20 kg कंज्यूम हुआ है हर मंथ, बट चाइल्ड का कंज्यूमशन है 8 kg, मीन्स 12 plus 8. Here what happens? The couple's consumption is a 12 kg, just met the target. यहाँ पे कपल ने अपना टारगेट अचीव किया है, बट ये जो एडिशनल 8 कीजिए वो बचेगा, बट यू हैव टू कीप द रिकॉर्ड्स. यहाँ पे ये पूरा मैकेनिज्म में आपको परफेक्ट रिकॉर्ड रखना बहुत जरूरी है विद बैकअप. देन सिनेरियो 2 में चाइल्ड्स कंजम्पशन से 10 kg. इन फर्स्ट केस दे हैव जस्ट कंप्लाइड. इन द सेकंड केस व्हाट हैपेंस, child consumption is a 10 kg, means the couple consumption is a 10 kg only instead of 12 kg. Overachiever means couple has made a effort to reduce the gas consumption, they have saved. That's why here they are eligible for the ESERTs, means they have achieved the higher than they are targeted. In the third case, child consumption is a 4 kg, means couple's consumption is a 16 kg. 16 kg means their target is a 12 kg, they are underachieved, they are consumed more, means 4 kg more. That's why here they can comply by taking ESERTs. Or suppose they are not compliant, then liable for the penalty. How this normalization factors works in the industries in a real situation, which are behind the control of the designated consumer. Here again the brief that we have seen in the target is a given 6 point, but this is the overachieve. The overachieve, that is successful achievement of the PAT cycle 1, 8.67 million tons of oil equivalent saved in the PAT cycle 1, and the CO2 mitigation around 31 million tons of CO2 reduction, the outcome of the PAT cycle 1. It's again shown in this pie chart sector wise. Here is this green is a thermal power. Any thermal power station is a high energy intensive industry. Here is a 3.06. They have achieved 35% is a contribution for achievement in the energy saving, and they have achieved also higher side. And this is a iron and steel, 2.10 million tons of oil equivalent, and 24% in terms of percent contribution. And this is a cement sector, third, and fourth is this fertilizer, fifth is aluminum, and so on. This is a sector wise achievement of the PAT cycle 1 energy efficiency. This is a realization of PAT cycle 1 we have seen in details. That is around 24,517 crore invested during this PAT cycle 1, and saved is 8.61 metric ton, is equivalent to 5635 megawatt of power. Means 1.25% of India's total primary energy consumption has been saved during this PAT cycle 1. This is one of the successful story of the PAT mechanism under the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, under the Energy Conservation Act 2001, and administrator is a Bureau of Energy Efficiency. And saving around 9,500 crore from saved energy consumption and avoided generation. And this is the other indirect achievement, that is skill development, capacity building around 5,000 plus engineers and operators, around 13,718 energy auditors and managers are qualified during this PAT cycle 1, and 219 is accredited. Accreditation is a given. This is a capability building. The PAT cycle 2 is a PAT cycle 1 is 8 sectors, PAT cycle 2 is 11 sectors, and the national target is given 8.869. This is a estimation. PAT cycle 2 figures also Bureau has been published on their website, the actual figures. The PAT cycle 3, these are the 6 sectors, around 116 designated consumers are there. Energy consumption million ton of 34.17, and energy saving target is given 1.01 million ton of oil equivalent. See, this slide shows PAT cycle 1, 2. Those diseases are in PAT cycle 1, they are eligible for PAT cycle 2 also. From PAT cycle 2 onwards, there is a, again, this is a continuous process, lapping of the PAT cycle. PAT cycle 2 baseline is a 1415 and assessment it is a 1819. But again, PAT 3 cycle started in 1516 and assessment is a 1916. Means PAT cycle 2 after assessment is a 1819. Means after completion of this, they are in the PAT cycle 6. Now those who are in the PAT cycle 2, they are eligible for the PAT cycle 3. And PAT cycle 3, those in the PAT cycle 3, they are eligible for the PAT cycle 7. PAT cycle 4 eligible for the PAT cycle 8, 5 for the 9, and again 6 come to the, means this is the how the PAT cycle works from the PAT cycle 1 to PAT cycle 2, 3, 4, and so on. And these are the incremental designated consumers. 478 in the PAT cycle 1, 621 is addition, again addition of 116, and for the PAT cycle 7, PAT cycle 3 plus 116 left over in the existing sector. Means there is a in every PAT cycle there is a deepening and widening. Then penalty. Come to this important slide. Ensure fulfillment of objective of PAT scheme, critical to meet India's commitment under the national. We can see that complying the provisions of the Energy Conservation Act. Process include provision for the penalties on non-compliance, adjudication and imposition of penalties, and there is any grievances, then designated consumer as well as the administrative body can go in the appellate tribunal of electricity. In order to enforce various provisions of Energy Conservation Act 2001, penalties and adjudication provisions are stipulated in Chapter 8 and Chapter 9 under Section 26, 27, 28, 29. Means simply we can say, suppose you are defaulter or not complied, then under this provision, Section 14, He shall means any disease or not complied shall be liable to penalty which shall not exceed 10 lakh rupees. See, this is a fixed amount. Penalty is a fixed amount, and above that there is a, suppose you are underachiever of the 100 ESETs, then price of that 100 ESETs fixed in that respective cycle plus this 10 lakh, and you should be given some date to comply it. Suppose you are not complying within that date, again there is a 10,000 rupees per day addition penalty. That's why it's very important to comply as per provision in time. Again, there is a provision in case any amount payable under this section is not paid, then it may be recovered as an error of the land revenue. These are the provisions under this Energy Conservation Act 2001. This has been shown how the baseline of the PAT cycle 1 started, the data collection and the 2007, 8, 9, 9, 10. Then this PAT scheme started in 2012 and implementation 2012-15, and MNV happened after completion of 14-15. Here, the example of power plant factors influencing the target setting for the power plants. Net heat rate, quality of coal, that is a GCV, ash content, and other factors, and plant load factors. This is how this PAT cycle has been divided to fix the uh, target specific energy consumption. Suppose there is a variation in the net mm, station heat rate from design net heat rate is equal to or less than 5%, then there is a target of reduction of 10 station heat rate, that is 0.5 in the percentage. Suppose there is a deviation between more than 5 and less than 10, there is a target is a 15, and deviation is more than 10, less than 20, target is a 20, and suppose there is a deviation more than 20, then target is a reduction target is a 25. How it is? Suppose you are at lower side. I have shown one slide, that graph. Suppose your deviation or you are near to your design value and falls in this range, your target is at lower side. See what happens normally in the power plant. We are looking only gross heat rate. Then suppose we are comparing plant 1 and plant 2, or unit 1 or unit 2. Plant 1 is a 2500 kilocalorie per kWh, and plant 2 is a 2445 kilocalorie. By looking only gross heat rate, we come to the conclusion plant 2 is efficient. Suppose you are looking only auxiliary power consumption, that is plant 1 is 8%, plant 2 is 9.75%. Then suppose we are looking only for the auxiliary power consumption, we can say 8% auxiliary power consumption plant is efficient. But in real sense, we have to see both thermal and electrical energy, that is net heat rate. Net heat rate is formula is gross heat rate divided by 1 minus auxiliary power consumption. Here you can see 2717 for the plant 1, 2709. Here plant 2 is efficient. So suppose we are comparing to the plant 1. Here again, these three plants, X limited, Y limited, and Z limited. Here, suppose gross heat rate is 2305, Y is 2300, and Z limited is 2295. Then we can, by looking only gross rate, we can say the Z limited is efficient. But suppose you are looking only auxiliary power consumption, in that case, we can say X limited is efficient. Suppose we are looking in all respects, that is thermal energy and electrical energy, that is net heat rate, then we can come to conclusion that Y limited is efficient, that is 2480. because Z in overall is considered to consuming 2481 and X is a 2482. That's why Z limited is a EPC limit. Normally, the specific energy consumption net energy in input into the designated consumer's boundary and total output equivalent major production in the designated consumer boundary. Then how this calculation of one asserts 1 metric ton of oil equivalent equal to 1 into 10 raised to 7 kilocalorie of energy. It is total of any type of energy, that is coal, oil, diesel, fuel oil, whatever may be. It is 1 into 10 raised to 7 and it is equal to 1 asserts. Means 1 energy saving certificate is equal to 1 into 10 raised to 7 kilocalorie of energy consumption, or you can term into 1 metric ton of oil equivalent. Market design. Designated consumer are obligated to improve energy efficiency. Energy efficiency targets are percentage reduction in specific energy consumption expressed in absolute saving terms. That is, we have seen the specific energy consumption. For example, specific energy consumption of thermal power plant in terms of net heat rate, but ultimately it is converted into metric ton of oil equivalent. Designated consumer can meet target undertaking energy efficiency measures themselves in the day-to-day operation, or sell their obligation to someone else, or by taking assets from the market they can meet the target. The obligation buyer's target increases correspondingly, and he has to make that much more energy efficient improvement by assets from the someone else. Compliance and reporting. Total compliance period of 3 years to be broken into annual compliance period. Designated consumer would undertake energy efficiency measures and submit annual reports. हर साल आपको annual इस ये रिटर्न भरना ही है. Then if submitted annual reports show over achievement, results to be issued for the level of over achievement. जितना आपने ज़्यादा अचीव किया उतना इजर्ट्स मीन्स उतना किलो कैलोरी से आपका कन्वर्ट करके आपका प्रोडक्शन के हिसाब में उतना एनर्जी सेविंग सर्टिफिकेट कैलकुलेट किया जाएगा, और उसके हिसाब से आपको दैट सर्टिफिकेट्स यू कैन सेल और बैंक इट till compliance period of your next cycle, your respective next cycle. We can initiate compliance check on deep check basis on both DC and DEA. Suppose Bureau of Efficiency find any abnormality for the designated consumer end or the auditing agency, they can recheck or revalidate. In case of non-compliance, state designated agency to levy penalties on disease. Suppose any designated consumer not compliance, then state designated agency has the authority to penalize that DC and recover the amount. Assets are issued for the overachievers. हम लोगों ने देखा. Then it is you can sell or bank it to the name. Penalties issues for the partial issuance of assets can be allowed on exchange, DC on submission of project design documents to the scheme administrator. Registry is that we have seen is a POSOCO is a registry. You have to again from designated consumer to eligible entity. You have to for the registering on the POSOCO. You can convert your designated consumers to eligible entity for the trading, for the selling or buying the energy saving certificate. This is a market decision, the overall schematic, scheme administrator, state designated agency, and what is their authority and responsibilities shown here: designated consumers, designated energy auditor, registry, and power exchange. And this is the overall. B is a market regulator and administrator. Ministry of Power comes, state designated agency come into picture, and designated energy auditing agency and designated consumers, central registry, that is and trading of assets. Here how the detailed trading happens, we will see designated consumer can become eligible entity after registering. then issue of electronic certificates of registration, then आपको सर्टिफिकेट जो भी है वो इशू होगा, then scrutiny by the registry after application. After compliance scrutiny by registry, you will issue the certificates. Submission of format 1.5 owner details, fees declaration. For the becoming DC to EE, there is again separate form and procedure. We have to follow that and share the list of eligible entities on Power Exchange. Accordingly, you can again go to the your respect. Suppose you want to, you can choose your Power Exchange and accordingly you can exchange your or take a part into the market design ESETs mechanism. Application form for the becoming designated consumer to eligible entity. This is the form. In the section A, there is a path cycle duration, DC registration number, DC number, sector, state, name of the state designated agency, plant address, plant head name, plant head contact number. These details you have to fulfill. The name of the applicant, type of applicant, postal code. Sorry, then your contact details, email ID. Then there is a secondary contact details. Then for fees purpose, name of the bank, detail of fees paid, one-time registration fee, ESETs fee. Here, ESETs fee only for the overachiever, not for the buyer. Then TDS details of the applicant. Then you should give the declaration. These are the different annexures. Then you have to submit the all details of PAN, TAN, and CN number and service tax numbers. Then briefly, we can see the energy manager's responsibility: prepare an annual activity plan and present to management concerning financially attractive investment to reduce the energy cost. Establish an energy conservation cell within the firm with management's consent about the mandate and task of the cell. Energy conservation cell can be established by the energy manager. Initiate activities to improve the monitoring and process control to reduce the cost. Analyze equipment performance with respect to the energy efficiency, ensure proper functioning and calibration of the instrumentation required to assess level of energy consumption directly or indirectly. Then prepare information material and conduct internal workshop about the topics for other staff. Develop and manage training program for energy efficiency and operating levels. It is very important. Awareness is a very important for any utility for any new I can say the, for example, any ISO system also, or any this PAT cycle or quality cycle. The basic purpose is to understand the what is the requirement, what is the program going on. Coordinate nomination and management personnel to external programs. Create knowledge bank on the sectoral, national, and international development on energy efficiency technology and management system and information demonstration. Develop integrated system for energy efficiency and environmental upgradation. Coordinate implementation of energy audit, energy efficiency improvement projects through external agencies. These are the then duties of energy manager. Report to B and state level designated agency once in a year the information with regard to the energy consumed and action taken in the recommendation of the accredited energy auditor as per the specific formats. Establish and improve data recovery, collection, and analysis system to keep track of energy consumption. Prepare a scheme for the efficient use of energy and its conservation, and implement such a scheme keeping in view of the economic stability of the investment. See, one thing is very important to see the economic and technical feasibility for implementation of any energy efficiency project in the industry. Energy Conservation Act 2001 does not say or does not there is a no provision to implement all projects, because it is a concern of individual DC or utility to see the economic and technical flexibility. Then energy auditor's responsibility conduct internal audit of the individual equipments or system once in a year. Submit copy of the reports to the energy manager with recommendation and actions. Keep of all codes and practices for energy efficiency testing. Be a team member of the external team when it is coming for the auditing by external agency. For ESCO performance, contact project to verify for the monitoring and verification system and baseline and savings. Conclusion, this PAT is a market-based mechanism, is easy to implement, robust and reliable, include traceability and liquidity and fungibility also, allow development of energy efficiency market, multiple trading opportunities, creation of demand in line with the existing structure and practices. This may be now applicable to your in near future by every building and every institute also. This is all about from my side for the today's session. With the permission of the organizer, I can take a question and answer if any.
Yes, hello.
Hi, yes, ma'am.
Sir, there are few questions from participants.
Yes, ma'am.
First question is from Swapnil Mane. To how many DCs a certified energy manager or auditor can be appointed and for how long?
Each DC can appoint a certified energy manager for each location. Suppose the DC means I have shown the threshold limit. For example, suppose you can take Adani Power at Dahanu and Adani Power in Nagpur. These are the two different locations. And suppose both locations are consuming 30,000 metric ton or above, both location should be there as separate energy manager. You have to appoint a separate energy managers for the both location.
Okay, sir. So one more question is that uh, if it is a new plant which has no historical data, how that can be included in the PAT?
No, normally after commissioning or of any industry, uh, normally it takes 3 years to come in the PAT cycle.
Okay, okay, sir. And last question, sir. What is the criteria of calculation of for the number of ESERTs?
The numbers of assets I have shown the targeted given specific energy consumption in the assessment year minus achieved into production. Means, for example, suppose you are given target of 2500 kilocalorie per kWh for the, suppose in the power plant, and suppose you are achieved 2400, means you are overachieved, means 1000 kilocalorie you are overachieved. Okay, this 1000 kilocalorie into your production of baseline year. Suppose baseline year consumption is a, or production, sorry, production is a 1000 million units, means this 100 kilocalorie into 1000 into 10 raised to 6, means 1 million, 1 m is equal to 10 raised to 6 units. This is how we can calculate. It is clear,
Okay.
or I can
Yes, sir.
show by calculating actual on the Excel. Okay.
No, sir, it's clear. Thank you so much, sir. Now I'll request Professor Panoskar, sir, for proposing vote of thanks.
Thank you, madam. It is my privilege to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. I, Professor N.J. Panaskar, on behalf of INCITIES Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Technology, Department of Mechanical Engineering, and on behalf of the Organization Committee of AIST AQIS sponsored online 1 week short-term training program on recent trends in energy management and audit, and on my own behalf, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Mr. Pandurang S. Jalkote for accepting our invitation as a resource person and sparing his valuable time with us. Sir has given good insights on the topic of perform, achieve, and trade dispatch under EC Act 2001. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And I will remind for dear participants, tomorrow's session will start at 10:30 a.m., which will be conducted by Mr. Vincent De Silva from Adani Power on introduction of new technologies like VFDs, magnet drives, etc. to reduce auxiliary power consumption. And I will request the technical team to officially end the meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.